So I am going live with Apple support because I upgraded to Ventura because they forced me to, because the hard drive was getting full of my iCloud products, and they would not support the complaint that I had, which is that the iCloud was filling up the local hard drive with like temporary downloads. So basically, I'm on hold with a senior tech who told me that the reason they forced me to upgrade to Ventura, which was a failure experiment, is because this issue with iCloud storing itself locally and filling up your hard drive makes your computer machine not be so portable as you would want when you're paying for extra storage on iCloud. So basically, they said I needed to upgrade to Ventura and then be on hold with the people from accessibility. We have an accessibility department. So I'm going to trial the Apple accessibility department to see if they can help Ventura play nice with all of my drivers. And let's see how it goes. If you have any suggestions or comments, let's talk about this together with the Apple team. So I'm going to stream live in the assistive technology group and see if we can get any hands on deck. Assistive. Without my devices working, I can't function. So I'm gonna take this YouTube URL and go to Facebook on a public group called Assistive Technology, 14,000 members. Oh, I did it wrong. Oh, I have to get a copy. All right, there it is. So apparently the assistive tech group doesn't let me go live. I posted this on the assistive technology group, and it's screening me for participation, and I may have to just go as my personal user. So my Facebook name will now be Henny Kornblue Cooperstein. So I'm going back to the assistive technology book group. There it is, 14,000 members. And I'm gonna write that I need help with macOS Ventura to play nice with my assistive technology. It kills all the drivers and won't allow Zoom meetings. Live on call with Apple accessibility senior advisors. Classical music on hold. All right, that should work. And let's put this into this group. I'll also post it on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, there is a really great group Let's see if we can load it. Assistive Technology Professionals. Assistive Technology Professionals, 12,000 members. That's good. I need help with macOS Ventura to play nice with my assistive technology. It kills all the drivers and won't even allow Zoom meetings. So far, I'm on hold with Apple. I was able to launch Google Meet on Safari by logging into my Gmail. However, Safari refused to remember the keychain passcodes. And when I tried to type my password because I didn't have the hotkeys on, I couldn't use sticky key features. So I had to use the command, the shift, in order to make an uppercase in my password. I had to hold down the shift at the same time as holding down the alphabet. But those are things I can no longer do because I'm limited to two fingers for accuracy. So um, I just was able to launch the Google Meet. So let me show you my layout a little bit. Here I have a room where this desk has all my accessibility equipment, just so I can do something like make a phone call. So here is my accessible phone that has a pop socket, and I have a Find It Without Vision bracelet that has beads that's shiny and it glints, so I can find it. And also, it is like a wrist loop, so I can hold my phone so I don't drop it, even though I do. I use my phone like this, and I use a single finger on my phone. Right now, on this phone, the background image is actually a photograph of my other phone. So, this is my telephone for phone calls. I also use this when I walk into a doctor's office, and I hold it up so that they understand that no, ASL interpreter hadn't arrived, but I can fully communicate. If they would only allow me to lip read, I can't lip read through masks. So I can't use that phone for emails and FaceTime because it interferes with the data service. And I can't use this phone for phone calls because it doesn't have enough cell bars in my area that I live. So it's two different providers, and you should always use two different carriers so that when you walk into a doctor's office, you can never predict whether there will be at least one cell bar. And one of the tools that I use when I go into a doctor's office is Otter. And Otter is free for, I think, 500 minutes to try. So please do get this app, OTTER. It's white with a royal blue circle and some sound lines coming out of it. And if you just hit the blue circle on the bottom right, it starts recording my current conversation. But it's recording it for the purpose of captioning. You can't use this as evidence, and like you can't go in and say, hey, I'm going to break up with my boyfriend, let's be aggressive and violent and say things, and let's get his death threat recorded. This is not, you can't submit this for evidence. It's not legally binding. California is a two-person consent state. That means that I have to inform you that I'm recording you, and then they have to also give consent. And even then, it's not legally binding. So I'm going to end this recording, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So this was my recording, and the AI bot already identifies who is which voice, and it plays it back for you. So that's really cool. And after a meeting, recording my current conversation, but it's recording it for the purpose of captioning. You can't use this as evidence, and like you can't go in and say, "Hey, I'm going to break up with my boyfriend. Let's be aggressive and violent and say things." And so that's the recording. You can export it. You can caption. You can highlight. You can bookmark. You can export your bookmarks. And my favorite new feature from Otter is they rolled out Otter Assistant, and Otter Assistant sends you an email after your meetings that it already knows have occurred from your Google Calendar synchronization. So it emails me a summary of my meetings, and it's just the AI identifies based on, let's say it's a frequency tabulation. Perhaps it's calculating how many times or summing how many times each word has been used, and then it determines what was the priority of the conversation based on the frequency of use of a word. So let's say the frequency of words that I'm using here hopefully is accessibility, accessibility, accessibility. And then when the email arrives with the meeting summary, it says a timestamp that's clickable for all the times I've said the word accessibility. So talk about being able to be functional by having all the tools that is available. But right now I've been on hold for 58 minutes with Apple. And this is their caller ID callback. So if you'd like to capture that, that will give you a human 512-884 5022. How old were you when you realized you could read backwards? Chose classical music, so that we don't have to worry about royalties in today's broadcast. Now I am live streaming, and I have a couple of people who are watching. I've posted this on the assistive technology group on public Facebook with 41 people and 41,000 members. Hello, I have Apple on the phone. Hi.
Hi, Dr. Henny. I'm sorry for the long delay. So I was seeing what we could do for you here. Okay. So I was able to speak with our accessibility team to see if they can help us with Ventura to reset up your equipment. But unfortunately, you're correct. They wouldn't be able to. They would refer you to back to whoever your networks are with. So I want to give you. So I didn't even want to transfer you over there because I know the long road you've been down.
Well, I really appreciate that. I really want to thank you for putting me on hold and inquiring about this, because going in circles and repeating myself was not going to solve this problem. And unfortunately, because the people before had not documented all the steps that they have advised me to take, I can't go down that road, and I can't reiterate over and over again that we've already done this. So what's my next step? Which I think you still have the screen you're able to see. And I was able to connect the assistive technology on the current computer. So I can continue this phone call through the workstation to see if there's any way that you can help me get the previous working version up and running.
Okay. So I am going to give you some options, and then you can tell me what you like to do. So, okay. So we've done all of the three ways where we would traditionally do it to reinstall the original operating system. Now, I remember when you said you and the previous advisor, or one of the advisors that you were working with before, erase your hard drive. When you erase your hard drive, sometimes what it will do, and this is not all the time, but sometimes it will take you back to the original operating system. If you've done that before and it didn't do it originally, we can try that again to see if it'll get us back to the original operating system. We can try that. Or if you don't want to...
Can I summarize what that is? What is that step in one sentence or less? I would be restoring from the time machine and see if the operating system came along with it?
Well, we tried restoring from the time machine already, but that didn't let us do it. So what we can try to do again is to erase the hard drive again to see if it will take us back to Monterey.
Okay.
And if it takes us back to Monterey, then we could just restore your backup and that's it. But if it does not take us back to Monterey, then at that point, then we have to make a decision on going into the store. Because we would have done all of the things that we could do here over the phone to get it working. But we can try that first because, I understand with you going into the store.
So can I install the application now that will allow you to do Apple Support screen sharing?
Sure.
Okay.
Go to...
I got it. You showed me how to download it. And now I have to log into my new user computer. And it says that it's installed. And I think that there is a way at ara.apple.com to enter in the number.
Yes, so it's ara.apple.com. Now, one thing I will tell you, if we are going to erase your hard drive to try to get back to the original operating system, you don't need to do the screen share because I wouldn't be able to see your screen in this way.
Apparently, I don't have an operating system, or it was erased, or I'm currently reading in a new user with a Ventura computer. So I don't know what the logical next step would be. I can't keep Ventura.
Okay, so if you'd like to, let's try to erase again then. We'll try to erase again to see if it'll take us back to another operating system before we put any data on your Mac.
So when the 4 choices will pop up and we don't choose data, the only other choice we had was install Ventura or Safari.
We're going to go to this utility. So when the 4 options come up, this time we're going to click on this utility, and then we'll click on Mac Ph.D on the left, and then we'll click on erase. And we'll check to see if it takes us back to another operating system, then we'll just restore from that.
Okay, I don't know any of those.
If it goes back to Ventura again, then we'll need to make an appointment.
Okay, so we're doing the same thing again, and we'll arrive to a Ventura computer, because I called you guys when it arrived to that screen.
Okay, so you're saying when you erased it before, it automatically went back to Ventura, right?
No, I called Apple when it finished erasing, I guess, and powering up, and the progress bar was complete. And I called and I listed to the technician exactly what I saw on the screen. And I was given information and not logged what they gave me. So when you came on the call, you couldn't see why the technician transferred me to the senior technician. So there's no paper trail of the steps we've done.
So this is what I'm saying with erasing, because I recognize that you've done this before. So when you erase your hard drive, sometimes when you erase it, it will actually take the hard drive back to the original operating system. So it'll do it on its own. It doesn't do it all the time, but sometimes it will. So if you've done it already and before it took you back to Ventura, we can try it again before you have any, before we place any data on your Mac. We can try it again to see if it'll take us back to a previous operating system.
Okay.
But after the next time that we try it, then we'd have to try to get some other kind of support if it doesn't do it. But I'd at least like to try that first, just because I know we have a few barriers with just going in.
Okay, so what is my first step for this next procedure of deleting this operating system and hard drive to see if it will offer me a different hard drive when it powers back on, even though you said the silicon computers will do that?
So what we'll do is you'll click on the Apple, and then you'll go to shut down.
Okay, and just shut down. Hands off.
And so once you go to shut down, okay, so we'll give it about 10 seconds. And then if you can hold power again until you see the loading startup option.
I'm going to hold the power button down and count seconds until I see options show up on the screen. So, just so you are aware of it and you could make a note for accessibility purposes, the only way to know how to do this on the Mac Mini is to feel around the edge of all four corners until there is an indent that's like a mini belly button. So, there's no other way to know where the button is. It's by design, it's flush to the casing. I'm still holding on, which means I have to be bent over and checking the computer screen. I'm letting go now because we have these two choices.
Okay. And click on options.
Am I supposed to use the phone to show you the screen?
You can. You don't.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
So, Macintosh HD and options.
Click on options.
All right, continue. The Apple logo with the progress bar.
Okay.
How can I be a collaborative, professional, honorary member included in the accessibility team that you have? I'm located in the heart of technology in California. I need a solution for the hundreds of thousands of people who come across my work, and they're largely influenced by how I problem solve so that they can problem solve. And my followership is large enough for me to, offer this professional service and consultation at no cost for the purpose of greater good. I now have the four choices on my computer, and we can restore from the time machine, we can reinstall macOS Ventura, we can launch Safari or disk utility.
Let's click on disk utility.
Yes, please. Continue. New colors. All right. We have a computer who is got almost everything full, 1.73 gigabytes used, 90 megabytes free. And we have some externals that it recognizes. And it says that there is two Macintosh HD with only 8 gig used, and then the Macintosh HD -data, which has naughty. Okay, so Macintosh HD -data is only 14 gig used. It shows the operating system of 13.2, which we now know is Ventura. But by contrast, Macintosh HD is, now it also changed to 8 gig used. But the main, like the mother header in Macintosh HD with all the volumes next to it, I don't know what to do because it says that suddenly there's all this capacity and a moment ago it didn't. Okay, so what can we do? There's so many utilities we could use. It's right now says shared by 5 volumes.
Okay. So what we're going to do on your Mac, so if you can highlight the Mac HD data, highlight the Mac HD data.
All right. APFS data volume.
Okay. So once you highlight that one, if you can, do you see where it says it has a minus sign?
Yes, I noticed that up near the first aid icons.
Yeah, so this is just the Mac HD data. Click on the minus sign for the Mac HD data.
Got it. Would you like to delete APFS volume Macintosh HD data ? Deleting it will permanently erase all data stored on it. You can't undo this action. The data volume is a member of a volume group, a set of volumes. You may delete just the data volume or all the volumes in the group.
We just want to just delete that volume, not all of them.
So delete volume group, cancel, or delete. I'll choose delete. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to delete, and to erase Mac, yellow alert, to erase or delete the volumes, you will need to fully erase this Mac. This will delete all media data and settings on all volumes on this Mac. An internet connection will be required to reactivate this Mac and reinstall the macOS. So we will go and hit the red erase Mac. I guess this is just a safety feature.
Yes,
or...
yes.
Are you sure, yellow alert? Erase Mac and restart. Apple logo progress bar.
Okay.
How much is my personal / professional experience valuable to the company as a whole with respect to accessibility?
I'm sure it's very valuable. I would, whenever you get a chance, I would have you go to careers@apple.com because there's two major groups that Apple pays particular attention to, or we have a particular focus on, and one is security and one is accessibility.
Okay, so my military vet friends who work in cybersecurity would be interested. Apple would be interested in them too.
I'm sure. So what I mean by they pay a particular focus on it, they're highly into customer security and performance. So I don't know about cybersecurity, but I'm sure they'd be interested in that. But accessibility is a very, very, very big driver here, our very big focus.
Okay, well, so I am going to connect to my Wi-Fi network to activate this Mac, and I'm anticipating that the next screen is going to ask me to create a new user, and that's the first time I met you 3 hours ago.
It should take us back to those 4 options, but we'll see what this gives us.
Your Mac is activated. Exit to recovery.
Okay, click exit to recovery.
Done.
Okay.
We have the 4 choices again. Restore from time machine, reinstall Ventura. Safari and disk
Okay,
utility.
it's Safari and disk utility. Okay, click on disk utility for me now.
All right, continue.
Oh, okay, so now on the left side of your screen, under internal, what options does it give you?
For the internal, we only have the Macintosh HD right now.
Okay, so highlight Mac HD.
All right.
And now this time, if you can click erase.
Oh, I was just going to do a plus. All right, so we go to erase. And erasing will permanently, you can't undo. And for some reason, it allows me to edit the name, but the format will be APFS.
Yes, but we want to keep the name the same.
Okay, so it's deleting the volumes of the default name. Complete. Click done.
Click done. Okay, so once this is done, now let's close the box.
Close the box. Red dot. Done. We have the 4 choices now.
Okay, so now where it says reinstall macOS, does it still say reinstall Ventura?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead.
Because remember you said that I need to install Ventura to be able to get what I need to downgrade. So I already have that.
Go ahead and click on reinstall Ventura because it's not going to do it for us.
Okay, it's loading installation information.
Okay. All right, so now we're at the step to where we need to make some decisions. And I'm saying that understanding your barriers that you have, but everything that we do is not letting us get you back down to Monterey. And I don't want, because I would be frustrated myself. I don't want to keep you going through circles of us just saying click here, and it's not doing it.
What is an accessible resolution? Should I agree to the macOS Ventura to continue installing the software?
Yes.
All right. I have read and I agree. We now have a Macintosh HD with 245 gig total. And 244 gig available. And then I could also select the disk where I want to install the macOS. And it's showing me my externals are all plugged in, including the ones that were in question. So should I click on the Macintosh HD and continue?
Yes, ma'am. Mac HD and continue.
About 3 hours and 2 minutes remaining. So this is what took 3 hours today. And then after it came up back, I called and the technician, did they mark any notes at the end of their shift? I mean, it was hours ago. Before we started talking, what was the last step that somebody noted that they offered me?
So let's see. Hold on for me. And that time where you've seen the 3 hours and whatever, it's going to escalate up and down.
Yeah, I have that experience. The progress bar tends to not be accurate.
Yeah, it always overestimates, and then it comes down.
Yes, I'd say we're at 60% now. And we already shaved off an hour in 2 minutes. So maybe 4 more minutes.
Okay. All right. So I see where you were with the previous advisor from earlier today, and where you guys went over, or maybe it may have been with your workers that they were talking to, where they sent them over the article to reinstall Monterey from a bootable drive, because it looks like they were running into the issues that we're running into, where it was only reinstalling the current release. And so where they stopped off is where they created the bootable. So I'm assuming that they did this together, where they created the bootable drive, where they downloaded all of the options to the bootable drive.
So what I have here
Create a bootable
from 5 hours ago, from around noon, with a case number and instructions to create a bootable installer from macOS. And I see that my worker left the App Store open on the macOS Monterey Apple application and the blue Get button. So I can see that that's the trail. And then we specifically had discussed which external we would be using for portability today.
They're putting it on? Okay.
Yeah, so right before they completed their work, I asked them to plug that exact drive into the desktop so that I can continue this operation.
Right. So that's exactly, from what I see here, it looks like that's exactly where they left off. The customer is now downloading Monterey to installer. So that's where they left off. So what should happen when you do the bootable drive, what I was attempting, what we were doing together earlier in terminal, was to try to create the drive again, because I couldn't see whether or not they've done that. But I see that now. What should happen when, you know how when we click on power and it says loading startup options, and it says either click on Mac HD or options, and we've always been clicking on options. Another option that should be there when you install from a bootable drive, that drive should be there. It should say whatever the name of the drive is, it should be there. And then you just
startup options. Okay, so right now, when this progress bar completes, we will have startup options. And the first question it's asked me when I made this call to the first technician today after my worker left was it's asking me, to choose United States and continue. So I followed his prompts, and then after 35 minutes or so, he finally said he's going to get a senior technician, and that was you. And then I was instructed to, and then around the time that your call got dropped by your computer, at that moment, the screen came up asking me if I want to restore from a backup or create a new user. So the restore from backup didn't work while I was on hold. So I went ahead and created a new user. So when you came back and you had called me back after the dropped call, I was sitting with a new user in a Ventura computer. So is that going to be happening again? Because
it's going to take us to a new user account. It will take us there.
So I can't be doing things again. I need to know exactly what the strategy is. This is not fair.
The strategy at this point, I'm not. I wouldn't ask you to do this again. None of this again, because everything that we do for some reason is giving us a roadblock. It's not allowing us to downgrade from any of the methods that we would use. So at this point, I would offer you service for this Mac to see if we can get that operating system back to it.
But you don't offer home-based services or mobile technician services for disabled people.
Right. And so I understand when I'm saying this, I understand the barrier that we have, but everything that we're doing now from this point is just going to be recycling the same options over and over and over again. And I don't want to put you, I just did this as the last ditch effort to see if possibly that it would finally kick in and do it for us, and it's still not kicking in.
So basically, it's not largely advertised that Apple will force you to stay on Ventura no matter what, but customers are taken for a ride and being told through the technicians on the phone, okay, let's try this, and now let's try this. Oh, it's going to take 3 hours. Call us back. So that's been going on since the third week of January, and we are now like, almost a week and a half into February. So the amount of loss of work and decline in well-being because I'm dependent on assistive technology for daily living, I can't justify this. I need a circumstance where the local computer company that is a verified Apple service office to be funded to come to my home tomorrow morning. And I could give you their contact information.
I would say this to you. If I could send someone out to your home, I'd send someone out to your home. I have definitely no problem with that. But unfortunately, I wish that was the option that I could do. But we don't have that available to send someone out.
Well,
so I say that as I have no qualm with doing that. If that were something that were available to me that I could do for you, I would love to do that. But unfortunately, I don't have that option.
Okay, so I had this problem with a laptop 2 years ago. And Apple forced me to upgrade to Monterey back then. And the computer was rendered, I could no longer use FaceTime on it. I still have that laptop 2 years later. I paid $450 for the battery because they told me the battery is the reason why the fan is making white noise. It wasn't true. It was the operating system. So the operating system was bleeding the battery. So I said, okay, fine, I consent to upgrading. We upgraded, and FaceTime doesn't even load. It does a operating error and it quits. I can't communicate using the laptop. That laptop is meant for FaceTime calls. I told you I have different equipment for different purposes so that I can access them without having to use all the utilities in one machine at the same time. So I don't know why I'm even doing what I did last time, which is figure out how to navigate to the Apple store that's inside a mall that's more than an hour's walk from the handicap parking spot in the garage across the street. And I took my laptop and I had to sit there. It was in COVID. I had to, do the whole standing outside thing. I could not stand. I did not go with my wheelchair, did not have my wheelchair then. So I was with my cane, and I had to stand in the back of the line and wait for people to exit the store. And they did not prioritize me to enter the store, even though I had an appointment. And I came there for the appointment late. They made me wait even more. I had to ask for a place to sit. They didn't want to let me sit by the product tables. I had to sit on a little stool in the back where it's like artistic layouts, and those chairs don't have backs. So I was sitting there, and I was there from when the store opened until they told me that I have to go now because they are closing the store. And I had to keep going out from the store and making sure that the security people by the front door would let me back in so that I can get a coffee. And that is what happened when your technicians on the telephone forced me to upgrade by telling me that would solve the problem after they forced me to go change the battery at one of your technicians' stores licensed near my home. And I had to pay for the battery, and then I had to go and no matter how many things that I went through, they gave me the same exact script you gave me. So I just want to make sure you're not reading from a script, because that would be incredibly offensive.
No, ma'am, we don't have any scripts.
So they told me the exact circular conversation we had. Okay, we'll try this, we'll try this. I documented all the steps. I asked them to document all the steps, and then they told me in the store, there's nothing we can do. We can't downgrade our iOS, our Apple's system.
Operating system?
Yeah. And they did not have any disability accommodations at that store. So I am not going to that store.
Okay.
That's not how this is going to be solved. There are enough disabled people in the United States who are your customers, who should have a service when they need it, especially with the costs of the equipment that I need in order to experience well-being.
Right.
Like 5 laptops and 2 Apple phones, and they're all Apple products. Okay, we don't get $1 million a month from Social Security. We get like a few $100s a month. So what can I expect when this remaining progress bar completes to install the disk called Macintosh HD?
When this finishes, it's still going to take us back to Ventura once it finishes. So it's going to put you back up to Ventura with that data, with that operating system.
Okay, and that's when you put me on hold to speak to your assistive technology department.
Right. So I did call over there to see if there's a way, because I know that you mentioned your equipment needing some drivers and things like that to make it accessible with Ventura, and that you were having issues with that. So I did want to reach out, because I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get yourself back up and going. So I did reach out to them to see if there was anything that we could do to re-download those drivers. And unfortunately, and you know, you sound pretty knowledgeable about this because you worked with all of these before. But those drivers are the things that you would need for your equipment would need to come from the manufacturer.
Basically, in American English, the way we say this in American English in layman's terms is, we are going to force you as a resolution for any problems you have to first upgrade to our newest operating system, and that we will bulldoze you into it by telling you we won't support anything until you do so. And then when you do so, you find out that Apple will not bulldoze themselves to get my equipment connected with their operating system. All of the companies now have to play nice with Apple all over again. So My equipment has a price tag, and it has a value that's equivalent to my lifespan. And I measure this by daily well-being checks to see, have I been able to accomplish a task today? Because of your policies to redirect everybody into your latest operating system, we are sitting here past my bedtime, after my worker has left, using all the equipment I have in my house to get my main workstation back to order after I have invested dollars and years and time to run these backups and time machines and downloading your boot disk and carrying with me an external drive. I think the equation of excessiveness, basically it's falling on your side now. So I need a solution that's portable, and I need one that is documented to guarantee outcomes, because otherwise this isn't a senior tech department. It's just the level where we go to get trapped because we're told you're senior level. So we go there to get trapped because the senior level said now that there were no resolutions. And that the only resolution is that I stay on Ventura without supporting any of my equipment. That's a safety violation. It's a health hazard. I don't need to sue Apple for injuries incurred since January 24th, when I was forced by your technician to upgrade to Ventura in exchange for support.
Okay.
All right? I did not get the support in exchange for my investment.
Well, and I hear you, and I don't want to come across like I'm reading a script or I keep telling you the same thing over and over. But at this point, to provide support on how to get back to Monterey, I would have, if it is possible, I would need to make you a service appointment. I wish it was a case where I could have someone come out to your home and or whatever feature would be more accommodating. I wish I could do that, but it would have to be a service call at this point.
The service technicians that work in the store are using the same internal handbooks and scripts and procedures that you have provided for me today.
They are, but what they also have available too, they also have other things that they can do there. They also have the bootable disk. I don't know why yours is not doing it, but they would try their own bootable disk to see if they can get in with you or get Monterey back to your Mac.
I have a bootable disk. I was instructed to make one. I had my worker come out and do one for your, for your staff.
Right, and you are correct. And we've tried doing that like a couple of times now. And I don't want to have you to keep doing the same thing over, and it keeps bringing us back to the same.
So you're the only senior technician who doesn't want me to try something to downgrade my system so that my assistive technology can come back online?
Right. No, I'm not saying that I'm the only one that doesn't want you to try something, but we've tried. We tried at this point. We tried multiple things, and it's still not doing it. So I don't want to have you keep trying, and still keep coming to the same resolution.
Well, then I need to be transferred to somebody who works in a department that has specific experience with operating systems, because if I'm going into generic technology or technicians, that's not going to get anybody anywhere. And this ticket is open since the 25th, I think, of January, when my computer was forcibly upgraded to Ventura. against my will.
So if you're saying you've been trying to, and with multiple people trying to downgrade since January 25th, and it's still not doing it, I mean, you can continue to speak to other people if you'd like to speak to others. But at this point, the options that we have are these are the options that we have.
These are the options I didn't need because it has been designed by a company that specifically wants to make circular options so that it looks like we have 4 options when the screen opens. But no matter which one you pick, your senior technician is going to tell you, okay, so apparently that's not working. We shouldn't be your labor force. I'm not your testing dummy.
I will say this to you, Dr. Henny. I assisted people with using all 3 of these options to reinstall or downgrade the operating system on the Mac, and even with erasing the drive before, and they all have worked. So for this time, where it's not working on your Mac, when we unfortunately, everything you're saying is valid. But the end result is, because we can't get there over the phone, we would have to make you a service appointment. So I understand with what you're saying. I don't know the rhyme or reason on what was going on or why they wanted you to upgrade. But now at this point, if you're wanting to go back down to Monterey, we would need to make a service appointment to see if we can get that done.
And you haven't been able to the last time I tried, and it cost me a lot because I got injured walking for so long to the store and sitting there the whole day on a metal artsy stool. Okay, so I'm not going back to that store. The other store that has curbside parking, a handicap spot at the front door, is an hour from my home. And I'm not going to sit in an Apple store with an appointment because they're going to say you can drop it off and pick it up in 2 weeks. Or you could sit here all day and hang out in the mall. Neither of those are options for me. So what I have secure is what I have secure. The only access I have right now is a desktop that's in the middle of reinstalling itself. And I cannot go to sleep under these circumstances any longer. My garage doesn't close. My lights don't turn off at night. And I can't check if my front door is locked because my Nest camera is offline. So you guys need to understand that I can't be done with this until I'm done with this.
Right. No, I get with what you're saying. I get it. I get it. But right now, we're at an impasse. If you'd like to have service, and I understand the service options are not just something where it's not like, hey, let's get up and run to the Apple store real quick. I get that. But if we're wanting to move forward, being that I can't send anyone out there, it has to be a service call.
Do you do service calls to non-Apple stores but licensed Apple dealers? There is one near my home, and it's accessible at their front. They have handicap parking right at the front door. I will not be able to get to your store.
Yes, we can make appointments to non-Apple stores at our service locations. Hold on for me for 1 moment.
But you guys are paying for the service.
Yes, I was going to say that depending on the location, some of the third parties, they charge for service. I don't know whether or not this one does. But from the zip code that you gave me, the closest non-Apple store from that zip code would be in Burbank, Melrose, Mac. They're at 2400 West Olive Avenue.
You're sending me to Hollywood? I'm 2.5 hours away.
What's your zip code? I don't know. There is one in Hollywood.
Just because I'm calling from a Hollywood phone number doesn't mean I live in Hollywood.
No, this is from the zip code that you gave me earlier. I can try somewhere else.
There is a Mac's retailer who is a licensed Mac repair center, and I've sent service requests there in the past, and I would like to request that store again, please.
Okay. Is it Mac 911?
The name of the store is.
They're in Santa Monica.
Please listen to me. The name of the store is all one word, Cry Wolf, CRYWOLF. They are on Convoy Court.
Hold on for me. They're in Convoy Court in San Diego?
Yes.
Okay, now this location, if you go there, they actually do not take appointments. They want you to contact them directly.
I'm going to need an appointment, and I have to make an appointment for my wheelchair transportation, which is $250 a day.
Well, if I can give you their number. So with them, what I mean by they don't take appointment, meaning that they don't let us do the appointment. They want you to contact them.
No, it means Apple will not pay for the service at Crywolf. Is what it means.
Okay. Well,
and you're trying to get me to drive to Hollywood.
Yeah, but this particular location, they just said to contact them. Now, as far as when you contact them, as far as what their service fees and all of that, they'll let you know that. But I can give you their contact number if you'd like to reach out to them.
Like I said, I have been there for appointments before that have been scheduled by Apple when they decided that it was meritorious for them to pay for the service. And I got an appointment there.
Okay. Well, right now they're just saying no reservation. And when they do that, that means they want you to contact them.
So why don't you contact them?
This could be true, but I just would have to give you the number because it's not allowing me to make an appointment for them.
Okay, so here's the thing. We're going to add Crywolf to this call because that's the best I could do. Because I cannot have my more than one equipment running at the same time for a different task. Their phone number, they should be closed now.
This location, it is 858
779653. Now, if they're closed,
thank you for calling.
And we can't resolve this.
Specialist. Our business hours are from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We are available for check-ins and pickups from 9 a.m. until noon and from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. If we're unable to come to the phone or you've reached us after hours, please leave a message and we will get back to you at our first opportunity. Once again, thank you for calling Crywolf, San Diego's Macintosh specialist.
Hi, this is Henny Cooperstein, and I have the senior technician with Apple on the phone. My Mac Mini was forcibly upgraded to Ventura, and they have spent 3 weeks with me on the telephone telling me all the reasons why I can't downgrade from Ventura. so that my assistive technology can play nice. And they're forcing me to do a walk-in appointment with you guys so that they don't have to pay for the service. So I just wanted this legally binding message on the record, and I will email you to set up a time. Thank you. So I left a message at this retailer that I know is a licensed Apple repair location near my home. I've had Apple Pay for service appointments in the past. And I left a message that would be legally binding in a court of law. So, how do I get service?
If you're wanting service with this particular location, you have to make service with them through them for this location.
Do you really think that we are not in agreement about me having to leave my house to go somewhere? If I have to leave my house to go somewhere and I have to unplug everything and take my little Mac Mini with me on a hike adventure, I'm not going to go to Southern California because you decided that that's where I need to go, because that's where you're geotagging my zip code from based on my phone number's area code. That's a level of ridiculousness I can't buy with that.
No, you don't. You don't have to go to that location, to those locations. But this particular location, you'd have to coordinate a reservation through them. Now, if you're wanting somewhere around them, around this location, but again, you mentioned not wanting to go into the Apple store. There's an Apple Fashion that's near this Crywolf. There's an Apple Fashion Valley and an Apple UTC.
Yep, those are the two malls that have a 1 mile walk from the handicap parking in the garage across the street.
Gotcha. So not saying you have to go to Crywolf. I mean, you can. You could go to either that you want, but I just couldn't coordinate a reservation for them in particular.
Okay. Let's say I take it to Crywolf and they see that, Apple should pay for their service time where they maintain external boot disks for every possible version against Apple's policies. So let's say I go and I get it jacked down, okay? So now it's, taking them 4 days, and they needed me to change my Apple password. That's what happened 2 years ago, so that they could keep logging in and restoring and everything. And then the invoice came. So no, I'm not going to do that again, where I call Apple tech support and the standard issue response is, oh, first give us what we want and then we'll give you what you want. So right now, as we speak, I'm being prompted by my computer to select my country or region. What would you like me to do? Keep in mind, this is my only option.
Select your country or region.
macOS contains a built-in screen reader called VoiceOver. If you know how to use VoiceOver, press Command F5 now to turn it on and set up your Mac. If you would like to learn how to use VoiceOver to set up your Mac. VoiceOver on Setup Assistant. Window. Table. Row 1 of 257. United States. Selected has accessibility. New keyboard layout. US. Select your Wi-Fi network. You are currently on the text password. Secure edit text. Data and privacy. You are currently on the text element.
Migration assistant from a Mac or from a Windows? Should I choose from a Mac to transfer information?
No. If you're doing migration assistant,
so I'm choosing not now.
Bring over data. Yes. So you'll choose not now.
I should sign in with my Apple ID?
Yes.
O. T W T P. What that A media equal O. Yahoo period C O. Yahoo.cn. Yahoo.com. Required secure edit text. Required. You are Plan. Pin entry field 1 of 6. You are currently on the text element.
I have to allow all my devices to sign in with my Apple ID. And one of them is giving me a code.
Plan. Pin entry field 4 of 6. You are currently on the text plan. Pin entry field 5 of 6. You are currently on the text element. In dialog, busy progress indicator. You are currently on the progress indicator.
I have read and agreed
www/
to the iCloud terms and conditions. Agreed.
Pin entry field 1 of 6. Dim pin entry field 2 of 6. Dim pin entry field 3 of 6. Dim pin entry field 4 of 6. In dialog, OK. Default button. Apple ID and privacy.
Apple
You are
ID
currently
and
on the button. Pin entry
privacy.
field 1 of 6.
Okay.
Dim pin entry field 2 of 6. Dim pin entry field 3 of 6. Dim pin entry field 4 of 6.
Why is the verification code just spinning?
Closing dialog. You are currently
It's
on the
trying
text
to
element.
sign in.
Create a computer account. You are currently
Now
on the
it's
text
asking
element.
me to create an account. Why can't I get my old account?
This is setting up without your backup. So if you would just click next or continue here.
That's when I called you. We don't need to set a new user. We need to
No,
import from
right.
the time machine.
If you want to do it from Time Machine, it's going to be a Ventura from Time Machine. It will be one of the Ventura backups.
I had backups on my external from before Ventura.
Right. Remember we tried doing those Venturas? I mean, the ones before Ventura, and they kept taking us in a loop.
You knew that, though.
After we've done it. Yes.
This is not your first. You said I'm not your first case.
Right. So normally, when you click on Restore from Time Machine, you're correct. This is not my first case. So normally, when you click on Restore from Time Machine, it works. So in your case, with it not working, that's where I'm saying we need to seek intervention because it didn't work.
Okay, well, I don't want to create a new computer account. I've already done that. So I'm going to hit back.
No, you would have to create either one or two things. Well, you still would have to create a computer
I'm
account.
choosing setup later.
But no, you can't do setup later if you want to go to your Mac home screen. So you have to set up an account.
Closing dialog. You are currently on the text element. Sign in with your Apple ID. You are currently on the
Why
text element.
can't I set this up later?
Because the Mac has to have a computer account. It has to have at least one.
So it won't let me sign in. What should I do? I've signed in. It recognized my password. I'm going to do it one more time.
Okay.
Email. You are currently on required secure edit text. Required. You are
Very hard for me without the sticky keys.
in dialog. Busy progress indicator. You are currently on the progress of new Apple ID. You are currently on web content. I have 8 characters.
Only one of my mouse works.
You are currently on the text element.
Create a computer account.
Yes, you will have to create a computer account.
And then I will be exactly where I was before I had my last coffee of the day.
It will put you back to your home screen. You are correct.
What do you mean? It's not going to look like my computer anymore.
It's not going to look like Monterey. You're right. It's going to look like Ventura.
But where is my desktops, my programs, and everything?
Now, would you like to restore from one of the Ventura backups that were there?
since you won't support me with downgrading it the way that I was told to do it, and you can't support your colleagues' comments or paths,
Okay,
then I
well,
don't
we
know
can
what
do
to
that.
tell you.
So,
That this is my
if
only
you-
choice.
So, does it give you the option to go back?
Yes.
Window.
Okay, click back.
And then the other option is to set up later.
Okay, we want to go back.
Now it's going back to the migration assistant.
Okay, so where it says migration assistant, does it give you the option to restore from time machine?
The option 1 is from a Mac time machine backup or startup disk, and the option 2 is
Click on option 1.
from a Windows PC, I think.
Okay, click on option 1.
Okay, continue. It's going to transfer information to this screen. The screen reader stopped. To select a Mac time machine backup or other startup disks to transfer its information to this Mac, I have my T7 external or another server, or looking for other sources. Should I choose the T7?
So we want the T7, yes.
Group. One item selected. T7. Time machine disk. Group. Table. No selection. You are currently on the table. To enter this table,
We have
press
a
Control, Option Shift. Down arrow.
backup from today, and
Row 2 expanded.
oh wait, no, the Mac Mini. Only the Mac Mini. I have to expand the Mac
Today at
Mini.
10 hours, 40 minutes, and 54 seconds a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Row 1 expanded.
I have to reverse the way I'm scrolling because the accessibility is off. I'm going back to January 25.
And those are Monterey, right?
2023, 3 hours, 0 minutes, and 52 seconds a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
No, it just shows me the date and time. I have to choose and continue.
Wednesday, January 25th, 2023, 3 hours, 0 minutes, and 52 seconds a.m. Pacific
It's this
Standard Time.
preparing source. What does that mean?
It's trying to prepare the backup.
Okay, this is the only time that I've seen this before.
Okay.
Why do you speculate it's different?
Well, let's see what it says. I definitely hope it works for us.
All right. I'm going to take a moment to go get this other laptop plugged in. Unfortunately, I have to carry a charger from another location.
Select the information to
So I need a
transfer.
moment.
You are currently on the
Actually, select the information. So it's calculating applications, MacBook Pro 15. I don't need the things from the MacBook Pro 15. Can I uncheck that?
Yes.
Yes. And then applications, I want other files and folders, I guess. System and network, yes or no? Let's see what's in the system.
Your system file, yeah, I would take those.
Is that going to fill up the hard drive? Can we purge and defrag the system data if I uncheck system settings?
So you can't purge it here, but you can just choose to not restore that by unchecking it.
So system settings won't get restored, and in exchange for that, I may have more room on the hard drive.
You may have a little bit more room, but system settings are going to be things that you like. If you have your clocks or reminders or anything like that, if you don't restore those settings, everything will just be default. If everything was
What is in the?
If you didn't have anything customized, then you don't have to. That wouldn't matter anyway.
Okay, so like I had right now, it says applications 31 gig, other files and folders 13 gig, system network 23 kilobytes. So what I'm asking is that because there is no evidence of actual data on my computer filling up the hard drive, that was the reason on the 25th that I had called. And it showed that the rest of the hard drive was full with a category called other. And the technician on the telephone told me that we can't tell you what this is unless you update to Ventura, because Ventura will tell you what's in the other category. And I recorded that.
Yeah, what other is
And then someone else said, don't do
only
system
25
settings.
kilobytes or KB. That's hardly any space at all. But other is going to be everything that can be calculated. So how much email you have, or it's library files. So how much email you have, or if you're playing games on your Mac, or if you're doing just different things that you're doing on your Mac.
Okay, so I'm supposed to surrender. I'm supposed to surrender and check applications, other system, and I unchecked MacBook Pro 15 because it's a different computer. So now I'll continue. Has like a progress bar of the T7 backup of Mac Mini going into this Mac. It shows the incremental time elapsing. It doesn't show the progress bar.
Okay. So this time it's going to take a little while because it's going to actually be reinstalling your data.
What kind of while? I'm going to need a moment to go plug in my computer, like I said. One moment. Okay, I am plugged in, but I no longer have the stamina to stay awake. What do I need to do next?
So now from this next part, now again, it could be a while, and it depends on how much data you have on your Mac. It could be 10 minutes, it could be a couple of hours. For that to reinstall, so you'll just need to let that reinstall.
We already calculated that. It's 30 gig. That's nothing. Like I said, I don't keep anything on the machines. I keep everything portable.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, unfortunately I couldn't give you the time on what that would be.
The progress bar just came up.
Could take a while. And so once this finishes, what you would do is just to follow the steps on the screen that it gives you.
So it's.
And then from here, I know that you said that you're going to contact Crywolf to set up a time to go to them.
I can't go to the.
You're wanting to downgrade.
I can't go to them until I can contact them, and I can't contact them until I have a computer that's working with my accessibility tools.
So you can't contact them by phone until tomorrow, you're saying?
I can't contact them without my assistive technology.
Updating? Well, if you like, or whenever it is, whenever your Mac is finished updating, then you can contact them if you like, or we can make you an appointment for an Apple store, whichever you prefer.
None of those are options that will solve this issue with how to contact Apple if you need help to downgrade an operating system. I'm not picking men. Pick one that's one under.
But here's what the fight with this. Unfortunately, we're unable to downgrade this here over the phone. I wish I could get something where I could snap my fingers and have this working for you immediately.
But I know you have the support for it.
Would do that. But the resolution that we would have at this point would be a service appointment. So whether you could want to do that or not want to do that, I understand the impediments on why you could or couldn't do it. But at this point, that would be our resolution.
The resolution before you. The resolution before you was that call us when you finish deleting your hard disk.
Right. And you did that. And we tried to boot from the disk. It didn't give us the option. And so I get everything that you said has happened along the way or before the way and everything that we've done since then. But at this point, the option that we have at this point would be to set up a service appointment. So I get the history on what's happened before, but going forward, what we would have would be to set up a service appointment.
Will the Apple Store agree to fund my wheelchair transport, which is about $250 for a trip?
Yeah, and unfortunately, they wouldn't. I wish I could get them to do that, but they wouldn't.
Well, would the Apple Store pay for someone to come to my home? There has to be a mobile division of your support services in each geographic area, and I know it exists. You're just not tapping into it. You can't tell me the resolution is to do something I'm not actually able to do. And then if you have this special needs division in your company, you should have been tapping into that 2 hours ago.
Right. If we had it, I would have. I assure you, I would have.
You have the accessibility department.
We don't have such a division. I wish we did. I truly wish we did, because you're right, I probably would have did it over an hour ago. But unfortunately, we don't have such a division. But if I understand truly, if I could either send someone out to you or have some type of service where we came and picked you up and took you to us or reimbursed for that, I have no problem with doing that. I would have no qualms at all, but that's just not, unfortunately, that's not a feature that we have.
So I guess the most recent feature that I do have is to wait with you on the telephone for 34 megabytes to get transferred.
No, at this point, we have to disconnect the call. The feature that we have, if you choose to, is to either set up the appointment with us or not set up the appointment. But that's the feature that we have now.
I am in the middle of transferring information to this Mac per your instruction, and I would like to complete that step and resolve that issue.
what I could do, I could set up a call back for you in 30 minutes just to see if its progress are still progressing. But unfortunately, I couldn't wait on it with you.
But you can call me back in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I could do a quick call back for you in 30 minutes just to see if it progressed.
Well, I could tell you that it'll be done before 30 minutes because it's already transferred 20,000 files. And it says there's 35 megabytes left to transfer. And from what I gather, before we started transferring the information, it was 31 gig, which is basically like 4 to 5 different programs that are installed on the hard drive. So that's a very small backup.
Okay.
Why is it taking so long?
Right. No, I just need to make sure that I have time. I don't want to say too soon, and because I'll have a call after you. But I will definitely give you a call back, and I'll call you back on the same number that I called you back on, and just to see if it transferred over. Would you like to do that?
Well, I need to anticipate some steps to do while you're gone. So what is going to happen after this is complete? Is it going to try to force me to set up a user again?
It may ask you to set up a user, but if it does ask you, if it asks you to set up a user, you will need to set up a user so that you'll have a user on your Mac. But the next step that it's going to do, it'll tell you exactly on screen what it wants you to do.
Is it going to be the United States again?
No, you passed that part.
Is it going to be the 4 choices?
No.
Is it going to be the hard disk versus utilities?
No, it's not going to be that. It may ask you to set up a user, or it may ask you if you want to use Siri, or if you want to do, if your keyboard has fingerprint, it may ask that. But exactly what it wants, it will tell you on screen what it's looking for.
What is use theory?
Use Siri, or like when you say, "Hey Siri, what time is it?" or "Hey Siri, what's the weather?"
Oh, to use
It'll
Siri.
ask you if you want to use Siri.
Also, like some of the Ventura features will set itself to default, even though it's coming from a backup.
Right.
So it's going to take my backup from the 25th, and it's going to make it look like my computer from the 25th, except I have to adapt to Ventura, and Ventura refuses to adapt to me.
Okay. It could be. But I'll tell you what. So what I'll do, ma'am, is I'll give you a call in about 30 minutes, and we'll see what it's looking like from there.
All right. And just for reference, what is your name again?
My name is Monique.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's see who's helping tonight. We have live broadcast. On Facebook, through YouTube. And we have 3 different LinkedIn groups following. So this is pretty nice. I'm going to go live again when they call me back, when these files are maybe transferred. But if you did not get the message by now, do not upgrade to Ventura just yet. Just yet. There are people in this world who require assistive technology. Please help us feel successful. Thank you.